Hello, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Ryan White, aka Steeler Source. Appreciate you coming to the channel. I'm assuming if you are here, you are probably from the Instagram that I manage covering the Steelers. Before we get into this breakdown, I just do want to give a little background of myself. Like I said, my name is Ryan White. I've been a Steelers fan basically for as long as I can remember since I was a little kid. I've enjoyed running the Steelers account on Instagram. I have been on and off, but I do plan to put a lot of effort into it now. I just recently finished college, and we're going to see where this takes me. Gonna be pumping out some previews, some reactions to different Steelers content here on YouTube, and then we're gonna be pushing a lot more content on Instagram covering the breaking news, giving opinions, interacting with y'all more. So I appreciate it. This is the beginning of the journey. We'll see where it goes, but let's dive into it. So, Steelers, Patriots, Sunday, 1 o'clock at Gillette Stadium. Steelers go on the road after suffering their first defeat of the season last week at home, brutal one against Seattle. Let's start with the Patriots. They are also 1-1 on the season. They started the year losing to the Raiders, and then they bounced back last week in a pretty wild game against Miami. A couple of kick returns. Drake May had a big bounce back game, pushing the ball down the field. Exciting to see from the young quarterback there. But yeah, speaking of him, let's start with the scouting report on Drake May. I put together some notes for this entire game about the Patriots, about the Steelers. So we'll start with Drake May and my scouting report on him. He's a big and strong QB. He's super athletic, and he's not afraid to take chances. He will sit in the pocket, and he will try to push the ball down the field. That's what he does. He seems to be a potential candidate of a breakout player this year. The Patriots brought in Stephon Diggs. They drafted Kyle Williams. They drafted Travion Henderson. They've got Antonio Gibson. They brought in a lot of playmakers to help this young quarterback. They brought the new coach Mike Vrabel. They're bringing in pieces for him to elevate, and that's what you've seen in the past few years of these quarterbacks. They get additional help on the outside, and stuff begins to happen for them. And so the biggest key for the Steelers is going to be to try and speed him up. And last week, the Steelers brought a lot of pressure last week, a lot more blitzes than they're used to doing, and they honestly didn't really get home too much. They were close at times, but it's going to be key if they can really speed Drake May up. He threw a bad interception, I believe, last week, or I can't remember if it was against the Raiders or Miami, but he threw an interception. He just had pressure in his face, and he kind of just airmailed it, overthrew it. And so if the Steelers can really put pressure on him and make him make quick decisions, he could struggle. It's only his third game this season, played a bit last year. He's a very young quarterback, and we know Mike Tomlin has a lot of success against younger quarterbacks, but with the way that the Steelers' pass defense is and the way this defense is structured, when there is blitzes and pressure on the quarterback, a lot of the times the quarterback knows what the coverage is on the back end pre-snap and obviously post-snap once he sees it. But the Steelers are not changing a lot of their looks post-snap. So like they'll come out and cover one a majority of the time, and they're not changing it. They're playing cover one. Sometimes it's cover one straight man. Sometimes they'll drop cover three. But a lot of the variations is cover one. And you see in Sam Darnold, I mean, there was multiple instances of defenders almost getting home, a lot of pressure, but Darnold is able to just stand there and throw the pass under pressure because he knows exactly where the ball's or where the defense is going to be. And so it's just going to be really key. Can the Steelers bring something different in the pass coverage? And then also, can they continue to ramp up the pressure? Maybe they go back to taking back the pressure this week, try and confuse May. We'll see, but it's going to be interesting. I just think that's going to be the first legit battle. But yeah, moving on to the weapons that the Patriots have. They've got a couple of really explosive running backs. Travion Henderson, the rookie, we've seen him return a kick in his first preseason touch, I believe. Gibson returned a kick last week. Ramondre Stevenson had a game, catching passes, running the ball. So they've got three extremely versatile and capable running backs. Henderson's a home run hitter. They all can pass. They all can run. Um, Good running backs, honestly, really good running backs. And against the Steelers defense that has struggled against the run all of last year and through 2 games so far, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. In terms of receivers, I mentioned Stephon Diggs, who at this point is more of a slot guy, super quarterback friendly. Doesn't really have the same burst he used to. Um, but yeah, super quarterback friendly. Can sit down in the zones and really understand what the defense is doing against him. Still a problem in man coverage. I mean, he's got super crisp route running. Not as nearly as fast and explosive as he used to be, but he's got the IQ and the technique. And for receivers, I mean, technique is just about number one. Kayshon Boutte has been absolutely amazing so far. He's been one of the best contested catchers this season through two. He's been honestly May's number one option. He had a big game last week. His route running stands out. He's a big receiver. He likes to work back to the ball. He understands leverage. He's really good in and out of his breaks. Not the twitchiest guy, but he's got a lot of long run speed once he gets to that speed. Um, yeah, he can work in the slot or outside. Honestly, Kayshawn has been super impressive this year out of LSU. Them LSU receivers are always turning up good in the NFL. Um, so yeah, Boutte, Diggs. They also got Mac Hollins, former Buffalo Bill, who's a big body, 6'4" receiver, red zone threat, and honestly a pretty good blocker, I would say. And then they brought in third round pick Kyle Williams out of Washington State. I was pretty high on him coming into the draft. I mean, he's everything you want in a receiver. Great route runner. He can hit the deep ball. He's got explosion in and out of his routes. He's a vertical threat with yak ability. He hasn't done much yet with how just the depth chart's been and being a rookie and stuff like that, but he's someone to definitely watch, especially with that young connection with May. We'll see if they can get it going. Tight ends, they've got a couple of, I'd say about average tight ends, Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper. Hunter Henry loves to work down the seams. Both of them are pretty solid blockers. Uh, Henry's got good hands, and he's a good possession receiver. He's just one of those reliable tight ends that you can just rely on over the middle primarily. And then Austin Hooper's their backup. About average at everything when it comes to tight end. A bit older, veteran, you know. Uh, but yeah, so this Patriots offense isn't the most scary, but it's got a lot of unproven and young talent. Like I said, Boutte and Henderson kind of stand out as players who can really, really hurt you for big plays. Gibson can fall into that, and same with Kyle Williams, I would say. But May likes to push the ball down the field, and when you combine that with a couple of young, promising prospects, if you want to call them that, it's a good recipe. And on top of that, they've got a revamped offensive line. Drafted Will Campbell in the first round. They drafted Jared Wilson in the third round. So on the left side, they've got two younger guys who both seem to be pretty promising. And then at center, they've got Garrett Bradbury. They've got Micah Wenyu at right guard. And then they've got Morgan Moses at right tackle. And honestly, Morgan Moses is probably the weakest link, unless you wanted to include the unproven rookies, as they've only played 2 games so far. But, I mean, TJ Watt lining up against Moses should be a great matchup for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He should be able to break the sack drought. But yeah, this offensive line is revamped and improving. They've got 3 veterans mixed with 2 young ascending guys, and they're showing flashes. But in terms of Patriots defense, they're giving up 315 yards per game against the pass. So It's going to be interesting what Arthur Smith, Aaron Rodgers, and the offense and how they want to attack. Patriots have been great against the run, giving up 55 yards per game, and against the pass, they're giving up over 300 yards per game. Number, they're the worst in the league through two. And while, yes, the run defense looks to be stout so far for them, a lot of that is because their pass coverage has not been there. So teams like Miami and Las Vegas quickly found out, let's air it out, let's throw it. We don't need to run it on them. So it'll be interesting to see what Arthur Smith comes into this game trying to do. The run game improved a little bit last week, I would say, but it still needs work. Caleb Johnson's probably going to take some time to be able to take some time before he really gets into the mix after that blunder last week. And Jaylen Warren seems to be really exploding. He's at about a 52% snap share right now, and honestly, we should get that to 70. After that huge play he made last week in the receiving game, that was honestly one of the best plays a runner could have. I mean, he juked about 5 dudes, put someone on the ground, breaking tackles. It was a ridiculous play. Get Jaylen Warren the ball. Also got to figure out how to get DK Metcalf the ball. The pass offense has honestly been just safe for the Steelers. It's kind of a concern. There hasn't been too many deep shots. The aggression is not there. Rodgers' average depth of target is, I'm pretty sure, worse in the league, or the lowest in the league at about 5 yards per target. And so it's hard to win like that. It's when you've got aggressive quarterbacks putting up numbers, you're asking a lot out of this defense to really hold up if you're going to play this way. And right now, they're just simply not holding up. This defense, mentioned it a little bit earlier, they literally cannot stop the run right now. I mean, Kenneth Walker gashed them, Breece Hall gashed them. And yes, those are two very, very good running backs, but this is the most expensive defense by over $20 million. And yes, there are some injuries now, but there's no excuse. There's no excuse to be this bad. And it's hard to say if it's all on the players, if it's on the scheme. I'm really excited to see if Derek Harmon can get back into the mix. He practiced back-to-back days. He should be getting into the game this Sunday for his NFL debut. Keanu Benton at nose tackle seems to be struggling a little bit in terms of just getting off blocks and just making an impact in the run game specifically. And also, Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen aren't really showing out when it comes to run defense, in my opinion. I think they both can fly around when they diagnose the play, but neither of them are really operating at a high enough level to diagnose what gaps running backs are attacking or could attack, and holes are not being closed. Holes are being opened, and we're seeing teams run all over this defense, and it's hard to stop. Now, for the Patriots defense, they've got a couple of new additions. But before I talk about the new additions, let's talk about their standout player, Christian Gonzalez, who seems to be making his debut this season. He is one of the, honestly, best corners in the league. I'd put him in the top 5 to top 10 range just after his rookie season. 6'1" corner. He's super physical. He's got a great size. DK Metcalf talked about him earlier this week, just saying how tough of a matchup and great of a corner he really is. He's super physical. They actually battled last year. I posted about it on the Instagram earlier today. And Gonzo probably got the better of the one-on-one matchup. DK had a monster day against New England, catching like 10 balls for 120 and a touchdown. But in the matchup specifically against Christian Gonzalez, I will have to say, according to Next Gen Stats, Christian Gonzalez got the better of him, only giving up 3 catches out of 7 targets for like 24 yards. And everything else DK caught was on someone else that day. So it's going to be fun to watch that again. He's a really, really great man-to-man corner, sticky coverage, super good athlete, can jump and win contested catches, honestly. Now for their new additions, they brought in defensive tackle Milton Williams. Very good player. 6'3", 290, just explosive first step, honestly. He's super quick. He's hard to block. He really really good at just collapsing the pocket, whether that just collapsing the pocket in the interior, um, which is the first thing a quarterback is going to see. So if Rodgers is getting collapsed in the middle, we know the mobility isn't too great, so that could be a problem. Could be a problem. But yeah, he likes to collapse the pocket, penetrate gaps in the run game. He's been a great addition for them. And then Harold Landry was another signing for them, and he's off to a great start this year. He's got 3.5 sacks, tied for the league's best. Um, One of them, I think the first one of the season, was kind of a cleanup sack. I watched all of his sacks earlier today. He It was a cleanup sack against the Raiders. Initial pressure was from, I believe, Milton Williams, and then he kind of came up after the Geno stepped up, cleaned it up. But after that, I will say his other sacks were pretty impressive, especially two of them. Just quick burst off the edge, and yeah, his get off is really quick right now. Believe I read that he's at a get off of about 0.78 seconds, which is actually quicker than TJ Watt's this season, about by a tenth. So something to keep an eye on with TJ Watt. Um, he hasn't been as impactful in terms of the splash plays, especially in the pass rush. Um, but yeah, he's also getting doubled and chipped as much as anyone in the league, just like Micah and Myles Garrett. Them three get chipped and blocked more than anyone, or doubled, I should say, by a large amount. But those guys are keeping that same production. And while TJ's pass rushing production hasn't been there, the run defense has been amazing by him. I mean, teams are literally not even running towards him. And so, yeah, he's still impressive, but the get off isn't quite is what it used to be. I know I kind of just switched over to the Steelers right there, but yeah. Now back to the Patriots to kind of just round off their scouting report for their defense. A couple other notable players. They got Marcus Jones, who's a great slot corner, super twitchy ball hawk, and Kyle Duggar. Kind of their thumper, enforcer, whatever you want to call it. He likes to be used in blitz packages, and he can cover tight ends. He's over the middle type of guy. Not really someone you want to trust on receivers, but he's not a corner, so you're not really asking him to do much of that. But good in run support. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting this week. Steelers got to get it. You know, this is a part of the schedule where the Steelers have an advantage. I mean, the Patriots aren't one of the top echelon teams. They've got the Vikings next week without J.J. McCarthy, and they don't necessarily look too like last year, at least. They've got the Browns the following week, the Bengals the week after. So these 4 games are likely against mostly non-playoff teams this year, especially the Browns and Bengals and Patriots. The Vikings are a great roster. But yeah, it's just going to be tough. The Patriots defense is playing pretty solid, especially against the run. Um, but yeah, that is about it. am going to say 23-20 Steelers as the score prediction, but I appreciate you guys all tuning in. This is the first Steelers breakdown, Steelers preview of the season, and I hope to see you again. Stay blessed.